you're like,
We got
and Friday started, I named her start.
just as I can drop it.
Alright, I think we'll go ahead and get started. You said 5. Okay. I want to thank all of you for coming. And you're going to tell us what if I cry, because I love you. Some of you have been with us from the beginning of the program. I think some of you asked us to put this together. So thank you. And last night we got Barry on, which was perfect timing, and added tie-down roping and the fundamentals for that. And we have worked this summer to put together truly a structured program for all of you, whether it be parents or kids or whatever. Because we want you to be great at your passion and be good at rodeo, but we also want you to become great adults and great leaders and just great human beings. And what you're doing now may not define your future, and so we're going to take these sessions a little bit further than we've ever gone in the past. And we started with it a little bit last spring with some classroom stuff and some discussions and different things, and we're building out a transformative program for all of you, which we're happy you're here to join us for that. It's going to look a little different than it has in the past. In the past, we've done a lot of just rope. And I know that's why we're here, but there's so much more to roping and rodeo and being great people, and that's what we're going to try and do today, or do over this winter. One of the things, Scott and I made an observation, we're in Buffalo, a lot of you have gone to Buffalo, different places to rope, and of all the people that were at Buffalo, there were only 5. There were 6 people there that I had high school rodeo with in Montana. There's only 5 there that I college rodeoed with in Montana, out of all the kids I grew up with and rodeoed with. That's not very many that are left roping. They've gone on to do other things and everything. But of those 6, when we looked around and said, who were they? They were all leaders in the profession they chose. We were blessed enough to rodeo with Tigers, who now runs, well, he runs Steelman. And we all know that. But there were people there that have gone on to run ranches, buy ranches, run their own businesses and different things. And that's because of the number of people they need rodeo on, but because rodeo teaches you how to work hard. And when I say work hard, that means not just at practice, but you work hard in everything. You don't walk by a piece of garbage, you pick it up. You're always asking if there's something you can do. You are taking care of your horses. You're taking responsibility for your physical well-being, your mental well-being. And that's the one thing I think that stands out. And what we talked about this summer is that's not something that historically has been taught when we look at rodeo. It has always been rope, be a better roper. Well, we're going to make you a better roper, but now we're going to make you a better well-rounded person. So with that, I'm going to hand out our program. And what we put together, and that's what we want to roll out to everybody. There's more that we haven't. Is we decided to break it down in 8-week courses. We decided to break it down in 8-week courses. It should get us through now through the spring. And the nuts and bolts is Mondays from 4:15 to 5. What we want to do is have classroom time. And we've already talked about different topics, and one came up today. Teaching me how to ride a boat pickup horse. I just happen to know that I was a teacher. That has the patience of a saint, because I can do it. But it's going to be a bunch of different things. Whether it's finance, I don't think anybody really appreciates how much goes into this, especially as kids, until you have to go write your first check for college rodeos. And so we want you to start thinking about finances. We want you to think nutrition. We want you to think about physical fitness. We've talked about learning about body mechanics and how you ride and how different things affect what you're doing. We want to talk about the tough stuff, mental. We want to talk about the really tough stuff, suicide, and how that affects us and how we have to keep ourselves in the right place, because this is a game that you can get down really fast. And we don't want that to happen. We want to give you the tools to be able to handle that. So on Mondays from 4:15 to 5 is going to be classroom in here. After that, we kind of let our beginner roping drift into the background a little bit. We haven't done it for a couple of years. And so after 5 o'clock, we're going to do beginner roping, so whether that's it'll be groundwork for a while, it'll be sled work, it'll be slow cat. What we encourage you all of you adults, kids that have been around, is to get involved and learn how to mentor and lead some of these kids that are learning how to rope, okay? The other thing about that I learned is when you start helping somebody learn how to rope and become better, you actually become a better roper because you start looking at things differently and through a different lens. And so it's purely going to be up to you, voluntary for you to join those both. Bring your horses, bring your ropes, and use that. But we will be doing beginners after this on 5 o'clock from 5 to 7. And they'll be broke down into segments depending on where that person is. We put together a schedule, Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. It's the very back page of what the schedule is going to look like. There is a fee structure. We spent a lot of time talking about fees and how to do that, and simply nothing's changed as far as what the cost is. For anybody that's been coming to our practices for a long time, we've been $50 a practice. And nothing changes about that. The only thing that's changing is we want you to put a little up front, because we believe if you put some up front, you're committed. It's something you're going to do. We all know if you pay something up front, it's a lot easier to make yourself come and do it versus, I don't need to go this week. Right? So that's why we did that. I'm going to skip the next 2 pages. Scott and Barry are going to go over some things. We do have a liability on the back, which is our standard liability, and we'll have to say, you're going to take this all home first practice and bring them back. No question. The one thing that's different, how much does a calf cost today? Boys, how much does a calf cost today? What does a lot need to do?
If you were to go by that item,
Okay. Right now, we're pretty lucky. Corbin has some calves that we're going to pay to be used, but at the same time, if something happens to one of those calves, right, they're just calves. And if something happens to a calf, and the same thing, I think there's somebody else that may have some calves, is we put a blank cost in that cap of $1,200. If something happens to one of those caps the night that we're practicing on it, 3 things I've seen happen, everybody's gonna pony up a little bit for the replacement cost of that cap. We thought it's fair, we're trying to build a team together to get this done, and it's not fair for one person, if you're the person that breaks the leg on a cap, and it's no longer not fair for you to have to pony up $1,200 or $1,500, whatever the cost is gonna be. But as a team, as a group, we felt it was all our responsibilities to be able to help with the cap. Now, if we're doing our job, it shouldn't hurt the cap, right? So that is something you'll see in there. If you have questions about that, please let us know. On the back, especially I don't know if you've seen it, so I'm going to share it. The guys are going to talk about that further, but I want you all to take this home. This is a program that you want to enroll in and be involved in. And you're coming back. I am able to. What are you able to do? You're able to, boys, I'm looking at you guys, you're the first people that saw this. Like, what is something you're able to do? Roll back, right? Show one time. I am willing to. What do you practice? My expectations. We want to know what your expectations for this program are, and then what your goals are, and how we're going to achieve them. So, first time back, when we come back to practice the first time, I would like you to have this filled out so we can see it. If you get it done early, send us a text with it. There's a commitment page for your signature that says, I'm going to do what I said I'm going to do on this. Questions? Otherwise, Gary's going to start. We can take them all.
I also appreciate you all being here, and I really appreciate Harkins including me in this, and I'm excited about it. I have 3 things I want to talk about, and it won't take very long. The first thing is kind of what our approach is that piggybacks off what Emily was just talking about. The second thing is what I think the opportunities here are, and the third thing is what I think your roles as parents could be to help us, to help you. Our approach here starts with matching your kids' effort. That's a huge concept that we believe in, and we learned from Western Northstat. And what we mean by that is like the kids that are getting after it. I've seen Scott do it for years. I've seen him in here at midnight sorting cows with young ladies because they needed to sort cows right before the rodeo because they put them together. Like, if you're a young person that's just going through the motions, you may find others just going through the motions with them. Like, we're going to be the hardest on the kids that's about the most. And we feel like that's a motivator. Like what we've learned by observing is that approach. Some kids get it earlier than others, but eventually they go, man, the harder I work, the harder he works. And it motivates. So that's our principle. We want them to do that when Emily talks about being a good citizen, we want them to pick up their own food. We want them to put their own belt boots on. We want to try to take ourselves and the parents out of doing a lot of that for them, because I personally noticed a direct correlation between when my kids started taking care of that business itself and when he started winning. And I think they're related. Scott, would you want to tell the story about our friend from Buffalo real quick? That you showed us the other day about the water deal.
Cameron.
Great example.
2 weeks ago, Cameron Davis was here. We spent 2 days doing. We had a lot of conversation, and they were in Guthrie, I think. And I think they had 8 head horses down there trying to get through the week with sisters and everybody else. And Cam said, their end stall had a horse next to it. And she said, I sat there all week and I saw a lady there, fed water, took the horse out, blah, 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 blah. She said, finally on Wednesday, a girl came up and said, do you know what the water hydrant is? And Cameron chewed her ass. She said, it's Wednesday. You've been here since Saturday. And you don't know where the water hydrant is for your own horse. And that was one of those that Barry and I talked about. It's like, seriously, okay, so why are we in Oklahoma? Is it for the girl or is it for the parent? And we want away from that. You guys got to do that. Parents help. They're going to help you. But I was proud of it because there was an 18-year-old girl that left yesterday for college and chewed some girl's ass that probably thinks she's a little bitch. Go on with it.
So matching the young people's effort is our number one thing. Our second thing is we embrace failure around here. We learn from failure. We never quit, but we don't discourage each other. The quote from Teddy Roosevelt that's in here on the bar has been huge to me. Like Scott and Emily and I, we think it's important that we rope too, and we have our struggles too, and we're not the best in the world. Like we're in there doing it with you, and we think that's a big deal. Like we embrace failure around here, and we think that consequences are a great thing. Like the consequence of you guys doing this program is you're going to become better ropers, better horsemen, better individuals. Like consequences are not bad. We are into consequences around here. The fourth thing is we are super into, as opposed to like Emily mentioned, just getting runs. We have an emphasis on horsemanship. We think that scoring and horsemanship is crucial, and we think that is in our approach. That's a priority. As far as the opportunities that this program can provide, I'll just talk about my kid a little bit really quick. When Scott and Emily first opened this bar, we paid $50 for 2 hours, 4 days, 5 days a week. And what we did most of the time was we walked out of the box and roped the dummy standing right there straight because it was just me and him. We had no calves, we had no help, we had the barn. But I know lots of guys in this area that rope calves way better than I do. And they would love to come help my kid, but they have lives too. Like, yeah, we'll come rope it, but never break them. So what I think this provides is an opportunity to surround yourself with other winners, with other people that can make you better, to have cattle that we never had, and to have mentors who are passionate, who are going to be here on time and committed to your success, all for the same price that I paid for the 2-hour bar. If you break it down like Emily said, it's $50 a time to come. I think I want to give you. Emily had a win yesterday over in Buffalo, and I don't want to embarrass her, but she did exactly what we talk about all the time. We talk about, boy, if these kids would just be committed to their rope and if they would exercise their horse. So her work required her to be out of town for a week, 10 days. She had a kid ride her horse. She had me ride her head horses to keep them sharp. She practiced a bunch before she left, and she practiced 3 days solid before she went. Even though she had that time, she had to be away. She had somebody taking care of business for her on her horses. And then she comes out sharp, and she went yesterday and won. And so, like I say, we try to live the same things that we're trying to ask our kids to do. Okay, my last subject is about your role as parents, and I hope I don't come off as an asshole with some of this, but it's just stuff that we have talked about over helping kids over the last couple of years and observed, and mistakes that I've made too. I'll start it by saying we are not your kids as parents, and we don't want to be, and we don't want to get in between that at all. What we want you to consider is this deal your dream or is it their dream? We can do it either way. It's just good to know, and it's a little harder if it's your dream. And I think it's just a good thing for all parents to think about. We would like you to be very involved and committed to this program if you decide to do it. As far as we're very transparent. We're proud of what we're doing here, so we would love people to come observe and be here, grandparents, anybody, to be here and watch. But we would like you to limit your interaction with your kids during the sessions. What I mean by that is, if we're trying to work on something and you're always commenting and saying, "Yeah, I've been telling you that," or "Yeah, you should," or if you're in the middle of it, you're distracting from what we're trying to do. We need them to focus on what we're telling them. So if there's a deal where they're even looking to and asking for something during our sessions, we would love it if you would say, "Ask Scott, ask Emily, ask Barry." That's what we're paying them for. Now, I know that you guys have a ton invested here, and a lot of you know more about this stuff now, like in your horses, and so we still want very open communication. We just want it at the right time. If you say, "Hey, I don't like what you're doing with my horse right there in the box. I want you to do it this way. I don't like the way you're talking to my kid. He responds better if you're harder on him or if you're more positive." I want to have those conversations. Those conversations are really important to us. We just don't want to have them in the middle of our 2-hour listening session. See what I'm saying? Like if you can communicate to us how to do the best for your kids, or that they had a bad week, they're starting their period. had a fight at school. We want that information, but we don't want it in the 2 hours. We want it before or after. You see what I'm saying? And the other thing that plays into that is what we call dinner conversation, or it might be the ride home conversation. We expect that when you have our sessions, you're going to say, how'd it go? How'd it go today? And Scott learned this from being a teacher. If that conversation gravitates towards, well, Scott was kind of mean to me tonight. He yelled at me a couple of times, and Barry wrote with us. He missed about half of them, and he doesn't even wrote very good. And if that turns into a negative session where you go, yeah, I've seen Barry wrote like shit before, Scott kind of can be an asshole, it all drives us all down. But if you take that conversation and you say, boy, I think Scott's hard on you because he believes in you. And I think Scott was yelled at you because you didn't pick up your poop like you're supposed to. And I know Barry doesn't rope that good, but I think there's something you can still learn from him. If you turn those conversations into positive, that would help us so much as parents. We like try to be punctual. We know life happens, but if we could at least get a text that you're going to be late, so we can organize and be. We are going to start on time, so let us know if you're going to be late. Try to be on time. Come distraction free. Our idea of this thing is one of us will have a phone on us, because if you have a family emergency, you're not here, you need to get a hold of your kid, great, we're going to have a phone on us. If we have an emergency here and we need to get somebody here to help us, we're going to have phones. We'd like the kids to leave the phones at the door, along with all the other distractions of the day. We want this to be a place where whatever school bullshit or whatever's been going on, they can leave it at the door and come in here and get better at what we're working on. Horse care, I don't think anybody in here needs this talk because you're all awesome, but there is a level of an animal that we wouldn't accept here. We haven't seen that, we haven't dealt with it. We kind of expect horses to be happy and healthy and not starving to death or cripple, and we would draw the line. And it's the same thing with kids. If we have a kid here that is a super distraction and can't seem to get it, we're not going to be afraid to meet the garden. We want the best kids that are going to support each other and have positive attitudes. Along with the horse care, what we would really, really like you to do at home with your horses is promote the drills we showed you. So I'm a big drill guy. We are, as mentors, we're kind of immersed and passionate about watching YouTube videos, discovering new drills, listening to podcasts, trying to learn so that we can help you better. And so we go over a lot of drills that we may only go for one time. But I will say to you at that one time, hey, Ray, this is important for your bay horse. Hey, Evan, what your horse do? And if that drill applies to you, you got to work on it and hold it. Well, if you only sign up for the 1 or 2 night a week program, then you've got to be working 2 or 3 nights a week on the drill that's specific to you. Otherwise, the one day you come in here, we're just working on that one thing, and we're like, that limited time is wasted. You see how work's wasted, in my mind. If we could have you doing those drills at home so that when we get to our 2-hour valuable time here, we're moving on to bigger, better things. Right? For as an example, the box drill I showed you guys about teaching your horse to come off your left hand and just go up to the dummy. If we got our horse perfect on that, and he's chilling in the box and he goes off our left hand, then we can just rope instead of screwing around for 30 minutes getting our horse ready in the box. So as parents, if you can promote the drills we do for you to know. Most of the drills I show you, you don't need cattle, you don't even need them. You need a hay bale, of course. So it would help us a lot if we could take the stuff we show you at home. Whatever program fits you best, if you say, hey, we can only make it in here 2 nights a week, try to have another 2 nights, at least another 2 nights a week that are designated towards doing the things we're working on. That's my spiel.
Again, this is a work in progress. When I looked through the program idea, I was like, I thought we were doing that, but she's taking it way further, trying to go deeper. There's a lot of aspects that I think get overlooked, and Barry coming in with tie-down ropers has brought a whole other world into the opportunities for kids in Gillette. At the end of the day, I think that's what we want. We want as many kids as we can get. I shouldn't say as many because, no, I don't want them. I want the ones that want to be here and want to work hard. The ones that are doing this as a social event, it's got to be social, but we want to work at it. We want to continue to be present. One of the first questions I want to ask you guys that are here, obviously you're interested, why do you want to do this? when you fill that paper out, I don't want yes, no, maybe, kinda, it's fun. I want why you wanna do this. I want an in-depth look at what your goal is. I looked at high school rodeo over the last 6 years that I've been involved. There are people there for a social aspect. There are people there because it's what their mom and dad did. There are people there that are whipping somebody's ass and nobody likes them, and everywhere in between. Where do you guys want to be in this? We can work to whatever level. And if you get to a level that's beyond us, we know people will bring it.
And that's part of our plan. And that's why Monday nights are really important, guys. If you're on Monday nights are the most important. Because we're going to have people here in the discussions.
Yeah, to help us. Emily made the comment 2-3 weeks ago that I will figure out how to get Coleman Proctor here next summer. I'm a Coleman Proctor fan. He's funny as hell, number one. Number two, his attitude is, I don't know how he does it every day. But that man has, I will get him here next summer for Team Up Clinic. And it won't be open to the community. It will be small and hand-picked with small numbers, but those are the kind of things we want to grow and get to. So why do you want to do it? One of his things, well, I want him. You want to be good or you want to be great? You want to go work at it a little bit and do okay, or do you want to go whip everybody's ass every weekend? And I want to know where you want to be at that level. If you haven't listened to his podcast, it's that segment. I love that segment of it. Going and practicing with him. You want to be good? You want to be great? It's pretty simple. But there's a lot of work that defines those two things. Okay? Emily hit on a little bit. My 20 years of education changed a lot of my perspective on the way I look at things. At the end of the day, I want you all to win. Is that feasible? Nope. There gets to be one every weekend, one every rodeo, one. I want good human beings. It's fun to sit back and watch people grow up and graduate from college. A whole other draft of them were living this week, last week, that we got to work with and getting to see them do good things. I have been very fortunate to write a lot of reference letters in the last 26 years. And one thing I always told kids was I don't write average reference letters. If I sit down and somebody else proofreads it, because I don't write very well, but if I write a reference letter, it is a very, 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 very good reference letter. Well, write an average one. Probably the best athlete I ever coached in Montana or Wyoming. His mother and I got to share words. He came to me and said, Mr. Everett, write me a reference letter. He was going to college to play football. I said, no, absolutely not. Best athlete I coached. Kid was 6'2", 190 pounds, good basketball player, good football player. Did track for a while, and it was too much work, so he quit. And I was an asshole, so that was one less sport he had to be in. But he wanted me to write a reference letter. His mom came in on the flight and chewed me up one side, down the other side. I said, you want me to write? He's arrogant, self-centered, egotistical, doesn't work very hard, very talented, super athlete, but kind of a shitty human being. And you can imagine how that went over to a mother of an 18-year-old. Not very well. I won't write it. I want to be able to write good reference letters. We've got a couple we're working on right now for some kids. It's a pleasure to write those, but that is my end game for all of you. To be good human beings, hardworking kids that we can send forward, whether it's college, whether it's business, whether it's rodeo, it does not matter. Another example of that from the judging perspective, you get to sit back and see a lot of things, because I don't talk to people when I judge, because I'm not quick enough mentally to keep it all organized. So you sit back quietly. Got to do Buffalo the other night, which had huge numbers, and organized, very well ran. Went to pull the barrier, and I wish Devin was there, because it's like, oh, there's 100 people standing here, and one of our high school kids said, hey, can I pull that for you? I said, absolutely. What current high school kids? Got done with slack, the perf got to slack, another 100 people all standing there, and we were up the first calf, and nobody wants to untie. Looked up at the group. Guess who came out? Two of our college kids that we got to work with over the last 4 or 5 years. Didn't have to ask them, they volunteered. So those are the kind of things we want to promote with this. We're going to rope. Obviously, we're going to rope. That's why we're here. But I want the big picture. I want this view for you guys and hard work and effort and getting things done. You go back to volunteerism. We've got former, current, past secretaries in this community that have put in a pile of time, board members in this community. Dustin volunteered, and he might be regretting it now, but he's now your state national director. And Dustin and I talk occasionally, now we talk frequently, trying to get things done for the state of Wyoming to make things bigger and better. You guys all fall into that at the high school level. So I want, not a lot of people like the Gillette people because we do take care of business and we whip people's asses and they get tired of it. I want to continue to grow that, but I want leadership. The last thing I'm going to talk about is the leadership piece, and this takes me back to Montana. I came home from basketball practice one night and I was pissed at kids. A whole bunch of them. I coach girls and boys. I'm like, we don't have any leaders, we don't have anybody that'll step up, we don't have anybody, and Emma listened for about 20 minutes to me run up the mouth because I was on the fight. And she finally looked at me and she said, well, have you taught them? And then I went, there's a reason stuck me down. And I just stopped talking. It's like, well, I don't have to teach them. I expect them to be leaders. She said, well, what have you done to teach them? And there I sat quiet and revamped my thought process on taking high school kids and turning them into leaders. How many do we have as event directors this year? Randy's going to be it. Bella is. Those are great positions. They're not always fun. You two will take some ass tunes this fall and this winter. I'll guarantee it next spring. Those are leadership positions. That's stepping up and doing it. We want to promote that. Okay? That takes you down the road. It also looks good on resumes and when you start applying for scholarships. So we want you involved in those things. Okay? I guess questions.
And you guys are an easy crowd.
It is easy.
FYI, depending on how you run it and when you stop, if you run it through, our club meetings are on Monday nights at 7.
Mondays.
At 7.
Okay.
Just so you know. Our first one's on a Tuesday in October, but then they're on Mondays.
They're just monthly, right?
Yeah. Like I said, it just kind of depends on if you're running it year round or just for a little bit here or there or whatever. But yeah.
Yep. And another intent is to have the classroom section done by 5:15, and then out with beginners. And so high school kids, junior high kids would be done and be able to be there by 7. Yeah. The way it's structured.
Yeah.
So.
Should be great.
I do have one more thing. High school entries. Is anybody having trouble with that? Because those are due what, Monday night?
By Friday. Well, memberships are due by Friday, so if you're not,
Yes, membership entries are due Monday.
which I gotta do. Yeah,
Yep.
memberships are due by Friday. So if they're not in by Friday, you can't enter for the first rodeo. And then, yeah, Monday entries are due by midnight.
If you're having trouble with that, please ask for help.
And be sure to check here first section on the Wyoming High School Rodeo webpage. Shelley will post a spreadsheet where it says check here first. And that'll be posted somewhere around 5 or 6 p.m. on Monday. If your name is not got an X next to it, your event, you're not entered.
And there's the new button on there. That's the print PDF button. If that's not working, let me know. The comment was made was it Friday, Dustin? Thursday or Friday? The phones weren't working. They are working because Seaver was here today. You have to slide over to desktop version and that works. He walked me through it, so I know how to do it. So that did work today. Because guess who gets the ass tunes on Tuesday if you don't get entered? They're going to go to that man and they're going to come to me. They're not going to Shelley. So call Dustin. He might be nicer to you. Because I won't wait.
So your planned start date for the first one?
A week from today?
A week from, well, that's Labor Day.
It's 2 days.
I was thinking about, that's Labor Day. And we're good with Labor Day, except when we're going home from Cheyenne. So the question is, we would plan on Monday. It might just be very done.
Yeah, I can do it. Yeah. Well, that's next week, let's do that. And then, honestly, if any of you boys want to get some barn time from Scott, and if it's available between now and then, I'd go with it. Between now and Labor Day, I'm pretty open if you have other times that you want. And that's what we're here for. I mean, we want to get your videos, we want to be a part. We're not your parent. We're in the big old wheel of that it takes to do this, and your vet, and your farrier, and your horse factory. We just want to be a cog in that wheel. But it's not just for 2 hours a week. We're always available to match your effort.
And very great, there's some time, like I've already gone and walked like 4 to 8 out through the winter on these times. So you may not see it to book it yourself, especially this week, just let us know. And
If there's morning time that you calf rovers need to get stuff right with the horses, I'm breakaway rovers. We can do that between now and next week. But next week too. But the best thing you can do is get them in shape, right? If you've been having to work or do other stuff all summer, it's time to start getting them guys. It's 2 weeks past time to start getting them a little legged up.
so what we try to do is give you 3 options for each different, whether it's calves or team open. Like on Tuesdays from 4 to 6 we see calves. We are going to combine breakaway and tie down rovers for a reason, because there's just so many 4 to 6 time slots in the week, unfortunately. But we are going to combine, and knowing that not all of you are going to be able to make one time or another time, and so, but you guys do a lot of groundwork, and while they're doing groundwork, girls can be roving calves and different things. So we have planned to make it so everybody's having that opportunity. But Tuesday 4 to 6, we're going to row calves, 6 to 8, 18 row. The 6 to 18 roping is going to, there will be some of us like Barry and myself and Scott will be team roping, but in addition to that, hopefully y'all know who Jim Teagan is. He's very committed to this program. He's very observant. He's very good with tips and tools, and we like what he does. So there's going to be adults in those team roping sessions to help. Cam's been here, always willing to step aside and help somebody. So Wednesdays 2 to 4 we're team open. We know some of you guys are homeschool kids, so have an opportunity to be flexible in your practices and can come earlier in the day. They're not set in stone. I know we've got Thursdays team open from 2 to 4 and calves from 4 to 6. Some of that is junior high parents. You have you're leaving, you're going to be, and so we can try and make some schedules flex and do some different things as we get going. And once season runs down right, you'll have more opportunity to be here Thursday nights at any gravy and new. So, but those are how we've set the schedule up today and how practices look. The other thing we're tossing around doing is like maybe boot camps through the winter. Maybe for those that can't make a week, that we would do a Saturday maybe boot camp where we would come in and do combined. Because there's kids that want to come that just can't. And so, you know, they're constrained by miles with that. So if they could show up and spend the weekend doing a boot camp, we're going to have some of that. Everybody can welcome to do it. But the one thing we are committed to is we have steers we have team level steers for the winter, and we have calves for the winter. We just branded ours. Won't be no of ours for a while, but we still have calves. Barry's got some nice jerseys or slow nights, and working on that. Right now we've got Corbin's calves that are last. Huh? They can take a whole lot of runs right now. They're still strong. There's some other opportunities out there that we probably have for calves, so we're committed to guys to making this great. And I would tell you, goat tires, if you're coming, during tie down nights, we want to bring goats and practice goats in the corner, absolutely, bring them. So,
Is it classified as a day or as a slot?
a slot, yep. Yeah, so if you want to come and go 3 times a week, you'd be a tie down, 2 open, and then breakaway, or however that looks, yep.
Are you looking for the kid to commit to like Tuesdays 4 to 6, or can we have Tuesdays 4 to 6 one week and next week do a Thursday?
We'd like more of a commit just so we kind of know numbers and different things, but, we'll, yeah. Yeah, and you guys have yours. That's why this allows.
Gotcha.
So for the beginner one, is one slot just 5 to 6 and one slot 6 to 7, or is that combined?
It can be a combined class. I think the structure of the beginners is going to be like the all set with the beginners. You're going to get groundwork with the dummy, and then
We can stay the extra hours.
sled, and then cats. Yep. And
In my mind, like high school and junior high, especially high school, if you just rodeoed on a Sunday, Monday would be an awesome. I'm just suggesting it would be. Think about Monday being the night you maybe let your horse rest, or bring your young one to practice horse. Let the good one have Monday off, come to the classroom, and work on duck. Like we can play the tie the perfect camp for an hour, and let your horse have the night off. Get your horse Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and just for fun.
And that's what, when we go back to horses and taking care of us and taking care of people, that was the one thing that when I was coming up, that my brother really drove home with me is Monday nights are a rest night for your horses. They've been in a trailer, they've been working hard, you need to give their time off too. And that's why we built Monday nights the way we did, so you can have classroom. And then the beginners who aren't going to be rodeo hard over the weekend, they can come in and then we can help them. And then we're still honing our skills, but we're giving our partner the night off to do.
But that's definitely a night we can tie the perfect calf. We can rope on Scott's blue sparkles. We can work on the little things that we work on without horses on those nights too, for sure. We can play the tie from the post those nights sometimes around the way. You know, I don't. A lot of this is going to evolve based on your effort and who's showing up and who's at what level.
Other questions?
I have one more question.
Okay.
So if we do the one class per week, and we're doing like Tuesdays 4 to 6, but if we want to make some Mondays, we're relinquishing the Tuesday to
No,
go.
Mondays are just, I'm going to tell you that Monday's not the $50. The $50 class is lifestyle. The Monday 4 to 5:15, that is for you guys to be here. That is not a class.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
That is not a class. That
Wow, that's very generous.
that is for you guys to be here.
You
Yeah.
should charge for that.
Now the ground.
If we could turn it back on Monday,
Look, we're committed to all of you, and we felt this is something that's lacking in programs, and this is important to us, and that's why we want to do it the way we've done it, and that's why the 4:15 to 5. That's on us. That's for you guys. Now, beginner roping, that's a session. That's a class. I'm going to go back to the leadership piece, and I'm going to tell you when I'm sitting at state at that dinner and I saw how Gillette was represented with directors, I was so proud of all of you. I mean, that was, but I was a top 10 athlete. I wasn't the best athlete, but I was really good at taking responsibility and leading. And I did that from the time I got into high school rodeo till I left college. And I'm going to tell you, of all the things that served me well, it's those steps in my life, the leadership responsibilities and being able to talk in front of people and be passionate about what you believe in. That's the thing that has served me best. I love to rope, don't get me wrong. But it wasn't a career. But that leadership piece was, and that's what helped me through life. So I encourage all of you, when something comes up that you can be part of and lead, take advantage of it.
Well, and I'll give you an example of that. This spring, Scott Butcher and I went to Bozeman for the college radio, shadowed 2 PRC judges to work on that process. That's my deal, working on that process, moving and learning more. We got done with the first perf, would have been Friday, it was the first perf Friday night, and we go walking back into the office, and it was a pretty good sized office. And there's about 12 kids sitting in there, college kids, with vests on. And we walked through the door and we're like, oh, this is great. Somebody's grumpy, mad, irritated. And Jake Devereaux, how many of you know Jake Devereaux? Of course, Jake is the Big Sky Region director at Western Montana College. And he's sitting there and I said, Jake, is everybody grumpy or what? And 9 of the 12 people sitting there were Western Montana College kids. And those kids were all in there as event directors to discuss cattle, to discuss bulldog and steers, to discuss how things were running. And 9 of the 12 are Western kids. And we got done and I said, Jake, what the hell are you doing? Because nobody else in the region wants to be involved. He said, we stepped up and you got Montana State, which is the biggest program in the state. You got some big programs. And Western was running the Big Sky region. So if you want change or want things to be a certain way, be involved. Don't be the person that stands back and complains. Get involved in it. And these two got ramrodded a little bit this spring, which is good. I want them involved. I want kids involved. I want to go back, and this is a whole other topic, I want junior high directors. I know it's difficult, I know there's some things. I'm going to broach that conversation this year because it goes back to Emily's conversation of leadership and being involved. Learn how to talk in front of people, learn how to make decisions. They're not always fun, but you get to do it. Randy got to learn how to cut string the other day. We need that. We want all of you involved in that. So we're going to spend some time on leadership. Okay. Anything else? Okay.
Thanks, you guys.
We would entertain subjects for Monday night too. We have a long list, but if you guys have something that you think as parents would like us to research, we'll try it.
I would just say thank you guys for putting it together. It's a pretty
That was
big
a lot.
investment in the kids, so. Thanks. Good opportunity.
Thank you. Let us know, give us feedback. We're happy. We're happy to see your all of that.
It just like it's so nice outside. Like, you know, I was just it's nice that so that's cool. Sure you guys are for those club meetings. Okay.
Sorry, 10 years ago. Yeah.
So you have to put on a radio to get into this.
No, they just have like the radio.
Okay.
So that and then they
Where's the information? Where's everything that you just said? Just reach out. Okay. These three go.
I saw you.
Okay.
I sent a message to I need to call Shelley and ask her about like requirements for the release of that information.
Okay. I'll get on the Facebook.
Sounds great.
Did you put his life
Right now, yeah, so
Who's all going to come?
It's like 8 minutes. And I'll start it back. You're not
So you guys thank you. Better get permission.
But the mud's not so hard to get around. The freezes you can get around like that. Where you think you were just sloshing. It's terrible.
We don't run into the weekend. It's probably going to use two. It's a big one. It's not as bad.
That was with me and I was crying. That's
It'd be fun to try.
Yeah, let's say that you never took
It's only
She's tight.
And then that will credit for yeah, and then we
No, I think it's. But you're heading to see. It was Herman is like down here. What happened to you? I donated. Well, I know how it takes us. It really has to go back to what they I just wanted to say something. Well, I mean, like at the end of it, so like stand your rights, like on Mondays, we show better rights, right? That's the ropes at the end, because I really like I think the first day was like, yeah. So for a whole lot better. So, would it be a 99-year-old last year? So let's say my girlfriend. So I'm gonna go down on Tuesday. And on my Thursday. That's the only. He's never leaving the house. Ours died. Sure, I can do fourth grade. I can't. We can't solve it. Not all of it. Not very far. No. Ours, we can keep them until they die. I can't do it.
See, and that's, I would rather do that because then he doesn't have to see it. And
We are not.
I'm just.
We had the first place last year too. He's a great guy. He's the process now. That is part of like, I've thought about that and looked about what a guy expects from like, show up show up 2 days early, or 8 weeks before, we got stuff happening. Especially if you're not the first one, you usually have other vendors. When you show up early, that is real. Driving? Yes. We can, if we have little calves around, we do that, but it's better than.
She's 18 right now. So like how many kids do I
And that's like any maybe that are going to school, they so we try to perfect. And this is a
Sounds good.
if you get enough like for calves, what you do is you do more. I mean, not really so
You do a morning. We talked to the piece that gets complicated about that is not shoes in the morning. And during the winter season, so during the winter season, we'll have to do
okay. Whether it's a ride or show.
I think he's gonna try to predict.
I thought in pools to be where you go and go usually I go to yeah, she sends Troy video of like the pool like coming across her. Like, that's like that. I mean, you did it. He knows no boundaries. I don't have. I can give you a whole house.
Are you gonna go somewhere better? Winter cuttings.
Yeah, but that means you're gonna have to help her too.
I help happy anyways. We got your flags set up there.
No, I haven't. Yeah, we've been waiting for us.
Let him get the fresh air.
I'm sure he looks like a little bit of a butterball. Not gonna lie, he's a butterball. He's a mate. No, I'm not. Winter blankets. Pools. I think they're fine. It's like a 6-year-old. Some of it's made off.
We have surgery.
They teach like 50% how they select nice little synthetic babies.
I really need is
I only know what I'm going to get. All I know I'm on that with 8. That's so if I can say kidnap by the like now it's just say hold on.
There was a woman hit by the face. Well, they took it back to her mom and they were.
No, oh no. But she's giving you people we decided on what universe. Yeah, our comics is halfway there. That kid was awesome. Yeah, right. I know, I only go why would you have I have you. Never put the stripping shoot on. Stripping shoot. Are you taking tomorrow? I don't know what to take. Is it tomorrow?
In that.
You were telling me they had two sheets of
So that's it like this.
and Wednesday.
They put all their hands in. So there you go. There's
I got more space for my stripping shoot. Read your text message. Okay, today it's just sitting out. I know, she gets and then she's like, where? You would probably do it. Oh, did Mario do it? He's getting some good though. You don't want to eat those? I don't know anything about it. I guess I don't know much about it. I'm sure you know. What, the team?
That's
No, tomorrow's Alex. It's my birthday. No, like girls, one point. You better come tomorrow, Claire. My birthday will turn 18. Wait, they turn 18 tomorrow. Sorry. My brother's twins turn 18. Then two had made it. So nice to tomorrow at 3. Tomorrow at 3. And then an hour. She's coming to share. I asked her, she's like, yeah, Alright, we ready? Alright, let's see and then get it back.
Go.
And they can, if they get done breakaway, they can if they get done breakaway, they can do before the birthday. 6 hours.
You could do a Monday and then Tuesday.
Liners.
Checking stream before they do it.
That's what Tracy says. She's like, you know, somebody lined up and
I always use
Probably just roll, and then we just.
State. He didn't get it to side our conversation disappeared.
In that case.
Yeah, somebody check string.
Yeah, because the next
Liner, she says, and she gives you text to all, like, 3 people, be like, I need you to and it would show up, or there would be like 7 people there, and so.
Yeah, no, find your group, or find your boys that are responsible for finding that.
And
But yeah, well, here's one that I got to say.
Monday,
Who's
this, the
mad?
same
All of the state, there's a
and then just do it on Monday, and then do downtime with boys that are here on the path, or downtime with tabs, and then so yeah.
We need to have line, or we're gonna have line records.
Because honestly, knowing what your tabs are,
Maybe we
I would
can
probably
use
have a
line
years
records.
on each person's.
Use that.
So,
Because they
that
can
would
tell me what we're gonna do.
and then when the
I mean, yeah.
well,
No, that's the biggest thing. I think streamliners, and depending on, I mean, depending on the tabs, normally we go 400, and then tabs we make it 300.
Yes.
Well, but visit with the judge.
that's okay.
And I mean, I usually try and talk to the stuff contractors to make sure.
And I think we're gonna keep it
They're pretty
breakdown
last,
and
and
just
one
focus
goes,
on deburping on the ice.
no one's 300, part of the time, tag
And
them
then
to
here,
300, so that all last you can throw them before we're gonna relax on the game. That kind of stuff. Usually it's 4.
Any of Watson.
Typically, I would say
No time.
80%, 85% of the time, unless,
They didn't start
well, we
moving
spent
around.
2 years
They
at
Evans-
State, we went for
Evans
it.
had
Last 2 years at
tight
State, the
halves,
scales were
spring,
super soft,
and then tight halves.
and they should have been another foot, because then we were pushing kids up to 7.
Yeah.
And then there's like purple.
But you can visit them, I mean, you can visit with them, go ask them, what are we at? They'll typically,
Great. Are you breaking in this fall? Yeah, you're not saying that, are you?
I'm ready to go.
You're what?
Ribbon open.
Maybe no, but you're not gonna sign on. Yeah. Don't get one more year of development, okay?
no.
Yeah, I like this.
Get one more year.
And I think she'll have a string,
Yeah.
it's gotta be braided,
Right.
not put it on.
We gotta figure out ways to.
What is it? Like, I think it's about.
I've been working with Shannon a little bit on here.
And cheat.
Kind of.
I don't think so. Flags. I mean, that's flags.
Okay.
Summer, he
Yeah.
No, they just saw it.
Okay, that's not.
That is, high school is so hard.
Yeah, I was like, how does it say color match?
Probably every time you're gonna have great judges who know what they're doing.
Yeah.
You ever had a set of judges?
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Well, I've never seen these guys before. You might ask them about
It's funny,
spot.
the first one,
You might volunteer spot.
I shouldn't tell you what it's.
That's the important part of a great way to chase. If there's 3 judges, you might not worry about it.
And the last
But
one.
it's something to be aware of. It's a new thing.
Yeah, he goes,
Okay.
same
And
thing.
if we did, if for some reason, so here's the
Oh,
situation.
no, don't be stupid.
And the students should not interact with like a couple over.
Oh,
And
Okay, guys, thank you.
we have a line judge in the deal, it's not good for my kid in there.
You go get Thor,
Yeah, you go
me,
get,
or you, or your dad.
yeah, somebody's spot.
So the time that's not on there that we've got is still the Wednesdays before the 6th.
Okay.
I think that's what's happening. Because that's sessions time, I did put it on there, but it's still, you like, you, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it's small.
Okay. Yeah, thank you guys for doing this too. I'll be here Mondays for sure. And then watch our parents, but I'm sure Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays. I don't know that. Don't you? Oh, you have to leave later on in the year.
We might just have to stay up till midnight, keep you both.
Just pull it on my way. You can drive on Friday. If you want. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's comparative, and that's gonna affect some of those days part of the time, but.
Yeah.
And that's where there's more than one option.
Oh, really good.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. I'll see you. Are you guys practicing on?
Yeah, they're practicing the 3 to 5 minutes and after that, so we're gonna do ones, and then we are looking at this, for sure.
Okay. Sounds good.
My busting your shoes yet? No. Yep, right now. She's been out some.
She called.
Yep.
Okay, I don't know.
Yeah.